We all make more than 35,000 decisions a day. Most are small, but some can be life-changing.
When it comes to taking care of yourself, the most important choices can be hard to make. Like having a tough conversation instead of ignoring a buddy's call.
Or being there for support, not assuming things will just get better.
Or fighting through challenges rather than giving up.
And while we all face thousands of choices every day, there's one that can make all the difference. Today, make the decision to be there. For the veterans in your life, for your community, for yourself. Learn more at BeThereForVeterans.com.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. I am the host. My name is Travis, U.S. Marine Corps veteran. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hoobazoo Network. You can find out more on hoobazoo.com. And he's back. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, folks. About a year ago, almost at this time, I was talking to a guy named Mario who's in the Coast Guard, but international in Puerto Rico, doing an Irreverent Warriors hike that's nationwide. That's a lot to unpack, but we did it last year and we're doing it again. Mario Cima, Coast Guard active duty. Welcome back to Oscar Mike Radio.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And you know, we were talking before and we saw all the images and video from the 2021 hike. I just wanted you to take a minute and go through with people what that hike was like. Now, Irreverent Warriors does these hikes, right?
Correct.
And then people get together and, you know, I've been to one and, you know, we march for anywhere from 6 to 12 miles and we bond. So I kind of want you to take us back a year and talk about what that experience was like on, you know, hump day, if you will, and what that meant to you, please.
It was elemental. It took us relatively about a year to through all the planning, the permits. Generally speaking, a lot of hikes have to acquire maybe 1 or 2 permits, sometimes not even any, depending on where you're at. We had to pull approximately 10 permits just to pull the hike off. So there was a substantial amount of logistics, planning. We coordinated with the governor's office, the city, fire department, police departments. So at step off day, it was very, very elemental. In fact, when we stepped off, we had Puerto Rico Police Department, their motorcycle brigade, they escorted us the whole way. And the moment when we stepped off, I ran back to one of my other alternate coordinators who was fascinating in making it happen. His name's Anselmo. And I ran back to him and both of us were emotional and hugged each other to think that we actually pulled this off in Puerto Rico. And it was amazing stepping off and knowing that we're positively affecting local veterans here in Puerto Rico, their lives and changing lives.
So the hike, and there were some amazing photos from them. I'm going to see if I can put some of them up during our conversation. But it just seemed like Puerto Rico announced, hey, we're here. We've served in the military too. We have needs here. And, you know, yeah, it was a arduous process with COVID-19 and all the permitting, but it just seemed like from me watching from a couple thousand miles away that it was well received.
Absolutely. It went off perfectly. I couldn't have asked for a better hike. We stepped off. We hiked through Old San Juan, started at El Morro, which is an iconic, originally was a Spanish fortification and now is a U.S. National Park. So we started there and we ended back there and walked all through Old San Juan. The scenes and the view was just amazing. The ocean, the cruise ship terminal as you're walking by it, it just was absolutely amazing. The whole way there were smiles, but what was really, really elemental is at the end, we later found out that we actually positively affected a local veteran's life. And he said that he was in a really dark place and somebody convinced him, hey, sign up for this Irreverent Warriors hike in Puerto Rico. and it changed his life forever. So when we found out about that, all of the frustrations and the heartache of making happen was worthwhile. Everything was worth it.
Now, just humor me here. What happens after the hike? There's all this buildup and planning and logistical work and pressing the flesh and talking to people and dealing with multiple personalities and energies. What happens the day after the hike to a coordinator like yourself?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So a lot of us, we call it post-hike blues. So you're on this high, this adrenaline rush, and then it's just this crash, and it's this emotional, this rush of emotions. A lot of coordinators feel it the moment they get back home. Maybe it's the next day, just randomly, it's this emotion that it's this post-hike blues and this rush of emotions, and a lot of people get very, very, very emotional over it. Myself, I did. The following day, I couldn't believe that we pulled it off, and it was a rush of emotions that it actually happened, and we positively affected people's lives.
Well, that's amazing. And as the year went on, you saw Irreverent Warriors carrying out their mission and adjusting to the COVID-19 situation and other things. What's the state of the state for Irreverent Warriors in your view now?
It's expanding very fast. We're doing great things. I think this upcoming year we have 70 plus hikes, and we've expanded internationally. So if you haven't noticed, we now have hikes in London. We had our first London hike, and we are having a hike in Normandy. And Normandy
Wow.
is on 3rd of June, I believe.
Close to D-Day, right?
But correct. So yeah, so I'm sorry, the 11th of June we're having it in Normandy, but that's a big one. So we're going to be having in Normandy, and then London is going to be on September 3rd.
International.
Correct.
Like when I first met with Mama Bear and Andrew and a couple of the others, they were still taking baby steps and trying to run, and some cities were doing fantastic. Some cities were figuring it out, but accomplishing the goal. And now it's international. You're part of an international organization. That must be pretty, like when you're walking down the street now with your IW stuff on, that must be a different feeling.
It is, and we're recognized. People know who we are. We're striving to be that the leading veterans organization. And I myself, I founded about Irreverent Warriors back in 2018. Went on my first hike in Connecticut, and got stationed down here, and then realized that this was an organization that we really, really needed to bring to Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico, I'm sure, as you can see, it struggles in a lot of forms and fashions. And unfortunately, veterans are the burden of that, and they struggle to get a lot of the support services and support that they need. And so I feel blessed that I had the opportunity to bring Irreverent Warriors to Puerto Rico and change veterans' lives.
Yeah, just to backtrack a bit, I mean, how do native Puerto Ricans, if you will, feel about your organization now that it came through and did the hike and everybody had a great time, and no problems from having a large group of people move through municipalities? What's their feeling towards you all now?
They love it. We're still expanding the information out there. There's still a lot of people that don't know who we are, so we're hoping that this year expands in information that we're out here. We're for veterans. I expect that as the years progress, every year that we have this, we're going to get the information out to other veterans. But the local veterans that went on our hike loved it and could not wait for the next one. So a lot of the same veterans that hiked last June are hiking this February as well. So we're trying to connect with other local Puerto Rican veteran organizations and expanding the information out there as much as possible.
Awesome. So IW is growing, Irreverent Warriors, and I'm with Mario Cima, ladies and gentlemen, who was the 2021 coordinator for the Irreverent Warriors hike in Puerto Rico. You can go to irreverentwarriors.com to find out more. And now he's back for round 2 with me and another hike. What's going on for this year's hike, Mario?
For this year's hike, so it's going to be relatively the same as last year as far as the route. We're changing up a little bit. We needed to modify a couple of the stops. So what is different, a little bit different about our Puerto Rico hike is that we don't stop at establishments. We have checkpoints, and so those checkpoints, we're modifying them a little bit. That way, we don't affect traffic and that kind of stuff, because we get escorted the whole way by the police department,
wow.
the fire department. So we have full support from the police department, which is phenomenal. But we're just modifying a couple of the checkpoints. We have a new meet and greet and after party. It is a local establishment called Johnny and June's, and it's owned by a Navy veteran. And she is going to be hosting us for our meet and greet and our after party. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How many miles is the hike? It wasn't like a 13 or 15 mile hike, I remember a lot, but how long distance wise are we talking here?
Our distance is about 6 miles, and it's relatively flat. There is a couple hilly spots, but it's relatively flat. And when we say hike, that's a very loose term. It's we want to make sure that it's available for anybody and everybody, because we got all walks of life. We have paraplegic, people in wheelchairs. So, but yeah, it's about 6 miles.
Okay. Some locations, ladies and gentlemen, have a lot of hills in it, and some locations are very flat. Depending upon the crowd, it could be a fast, brisk walk or a Sunday stroll in the park. You just never know what you're going to find at an IW hike. You know, and the thing with you, Mario, is you're actively serving the military right now in the Coast Guard.
Correct. So I've been for 18 years. So yeah, I'm active duty. And so when I'm not at work on active duty, I'm doing Irreverent Warrior stuff. So in fact, I just got back from our Irreverent Warriors conference. And so we had a lot of good stuff come out of that. But yeah, it's another job. But yeah.
What's that like when you go to a conference like that and you get to meet other coordinators, regional, local, who are going through the same challenges you are, but are committed 100% to this? You know, what do you see when you walk in that room and you're all the same tribe?
I just see a room full of leaders and amazing people, heroes in my eyes, that are dedicated. We don't get paid. This is completely volunteer. We're volunteering our time and dedicating our time to veterans. And a lot of people don't realize the amount of work that these coordinators, district coordinators and national coordinators put in to put on a hike. We have to get permits, insurance. We have to raise funds to pay for all the food and supplies and everything. So it's a room of just dedicated people. It's family. I'm connected with those people on a regular basis, and they're doing great things.
Well, just to become a local coordinator or volunteer, it's you just don't show up, ladies and gentlemen. If I understand it correctly, there's a very robust and brutal process for a reason to get in your position.
Correct. So we have a vetting process. So if somebody wants to kick off a hike in their town, they need to put in a leadership application, and then there's a whole vetting process, orientation. We have a boot camp. So myself and Doug Capazzi, he's also another national coordinator. We both run that boot camp, and we evaluate them and train them on everything and anything on putting on a successful hike.
So you've done this now. Now the hike details. When exactly is this hike starting?
So it's going to be on February 27th, and we are starting at 09, stepping off.
09, stepping off in Puerto Rico, San Juan?
Correct, in San Juan. And if anybody, if they where to go find out about it, so make sure that they're following Irreverent Warriors Puerto Rico, IW Puerto Rico. If for registration, they need to go on Eventbrite. So there's a couple different ways. So they can go to irreverentwarriors.com. If they go to events, they can see the complete list of the 2022 hikes. If they click on the city, it'll directly take them right to Eventbrite, where they can get their ticket for registration, and they can buy all kinds of merchandise. So like for our hike, the hike logo is going to be on there. They can get hoodies, they can get tank tops, t-shirts, and then new this year we have luggage tags, hike tags. So those have been pretty popular. So some of the hikes have been making these luggage tags, and so we're jumping on the bandwagon, and we have hike tags this year.
Man, that's amazing. That is simply amazing. You know, I'm going to have, ladies and gentlemen, all the hike info in the Oscar Mike Radio show post, all the links right from the IW site takes you right there. You're not going to miss a thing. You're not going to miss a thing. So as you get to this hike, are you thinking about the future at all, Mario?
Absolutely. So this year I really want to attend a lot more hikes. I want to try out some Tennessee hikes. I know yourself, you've done some Tennessee hikes. I want to hit up some Florida, go back west. This year, now that COVID's kind of changing and travel's been opening up and that kind of stuff, I would like to attend a lot more hikes. But after the last hike, I was asked by the president, Cindy McNally, to come on as a national coordinator. So now I'm a national coordinator with some of the other coordinators, and myself and Doug Capazzi, we run the training boot camp stuff. So I've, the sky's the limit for Irreverent Warriors.
So you're getting ready to retire here in a couple of years, kind of taking it on the easy street. Oh, I've had a couple E8s and E9s tell me, hey, you start taking the throttle off the wrist a little bit, easing up. Not you. You're full throttle, ready to do this. And I kind of want to close it down with, what drives you to do this? What is prompting you to take action every day over a long period of time to advocate for veterans in this way, Mario?
Seeing service members and veterans and seeing what they go through, the PTSD, and knowing that on an average, 22 veterans kill themselves every day. And if there's anything that I can do to positively affect a veteran and maybe save one person, then that's a mission success. I know that we're never going to get rid of veteran suicide, but if I can do something to positively affect someone's life, then that makes me feel good. And all that hard work, it's absolutely worth it. So I just want to do good things.
Well, you are doing good things. You did a great thing last year. You really put Puerto Rico on the map and moved IW forward. It was great talking with you. And maybe now that I'm kind of like modern again, next year, February, it'll be nice and cool, sunny beaches. You smoke cigars at all, Mario?
I am an avid cigar smoker, sir.
There's some good cigars down there in Puerto Rico. Maybe we'll share one next year. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here with Mario Cima, active duty. Now, he's active duty, not a veteran. He's active duty, still doing his full-time active duty role, but is doing this advocacy for Irreverent Warriors. He's got his hike coming up in February. I've got all the info. You've been seeing the screen rolling here below. Check out the Oscar Mike Radio blog post. You'll see it all there. And get the tags, get down there and have yourself a good time. I'm looking forward to talking with you, in the future to see how this matures, because, if I can for a second, watching you mature into doing this was like a huge step, and now you've taken it that much further. So I think it's an amazing thing.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Travis. I really appreciate the time.
No problem. Anytime for you, Mario. And ladies and gentlemen, we talk longer, but he is truly mission in flight. He's got another meeting coming up, and it's all great. It's all for the right thing. And hope to meet you in person here real soon one day, Mario.
All right. I hope so. I hope we can get on a hike sometime soon, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as I say, Oscar Mike Radio, we are mission in flight. Thank you very much. I want to thank you for joining me and watching Oscar Mike Radio. Now go to OscarMikeRadio.com and click shop to check out all the cool merchandise from Authentically American. All proceeds go to veteran service organizations. We are mission in flight.